Peloton is gifting you their best offer of the season. Get up to $600 off Peloton Bike, Bike Plus, or Tread packages. Choose the package that is right for you with accessories ranging from cycling shoes to non-slip grip dumbbells and more. Whether you have 10 minutes to spare for a strength class or 30 minutes for a running or cycling class, there's a workout that works for you with music that is truly iconic. So don't miss out on Peloton's best offer of the season. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. All access membership separate. Offer ends December 6, 2022. Excludes Bike, Bike Plus, and Tread Basic. See additional terms at onepeloton.com.
From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
Nice to know my kind will be on my side. I don't believe the hype, and you know you're a terrible sight, but you'll be just fine. Just don't believe the hype.
It's Friday, September 20th, 2019, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, here with me in our Orlando studios on the ones and twos, our illustrious brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
All the way from Paris, France, Tyler Huckabee.
Ça va, mon amis.
I don't know. And joining us for the whole show today, one of our favorite friends, the founder of Seiko Designs and a new author, Liz Forkin Bohannon.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, so before I get going, I have something to ask you about, but before we get going, I want to tell everybody that today's show is brought to you by Mark Batterson's new book, Double Blessing. In a day when divine flourishing and godly stewardship have been reduced to a hashtag blessed, New York Times bestselling author and pastor Mark Batterson challenges believers to pursue a greater calling. In his new book, Double Blessing, he shares how the key to radically increasing your faith, joy, and abundance can be found by simply flipping the blessing. In other words, we become a blessing to others when we recognize how God has blessed us. Pick up your copy of Double Blessing in bookstores everywhere now. Speaking of books, Liz, you have a new book.
Hey.
I do. I don't know at what point I get to say I have it because it isn't technically launched yet.
Wait, what's the date? What's the date?
Yeah.
October 1st.
October
it launches.
1st.
So it is available for pre-order right now.
10
and if you guys
days.
we get, just to jump right in with the plug, if
Do
you
it.
pre-order it,
Yeah.
you get the audiobook, which I narrate, for free. And you get a Brave bracelet, which is a really beautiful handcrafted bracelet made in Uganda. You get all of that for free. So if you're interested, just in free stuff, you don't even have to be interested in what I have to say. You should pre-order it.
So, okay, tell us about the book, though. I mean, go ahead and plug away. I want to know about it. Like, what the heart behind it, the name, everything. What is it?
And can I say one thing about the cover photo? It is Liz on a very cool Vespa. I was looking at the Amazon information. I'm like, no, that is a rad Vespa. It gave me Parisian vibes. Speaking of Tyler, like it was very cool.
I thought the same thing. I thought I was looking around. I was checking my 6, thinking maybe you'd taken it here, right behind. You were inspired by my big move.
I know I'm biased, but it's the best book cover I've seen in a long time. I'll send you guys some copies in person so you can see it. Not only does it have a very fun photo on the front, but it's got a vellum book jacket. So it's like kind of see-through and it's very, 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 very cool. But I'm not even as excited about the cover as I am about the message. It's called Beginner's Pluck. Build your life of purpose and impact now. And someone recently described it. What did they say? They said it's like part memoir, part marketing, like guru-ish, part self-help, part comedy. And I felt pretty good about that description. It's the story of me starting and scaling my socially conscious fashion brand called Seiko Designs. But in the process, I really just kind of use that as a tool to explore the 14 principles that I really believe when I look back on the last 10 years of building this company, of building the life that I've built, the 14 kind of mentalities and mindsets and principles that I feel like have guided that. And it honestly came out of this inkling in me that over the last few years, I have gotten increasingly uncomfortable with the like popular narrative, specifically surrounding how to make an impact in the world, how to quote unquote find your passions, how to dream big, basically everything that all the like passion gurus on Instagram are telling you to do. In this book, I'm like, actually, no. it's opposite
Really?
day. This has actually been really toxic and harmful, and it's probably creating a lot of fear and anxiety and analysis paralysis in here. But instead of just hating on the passion gurus, I offer what I think are really, really helpful ways to switch the ways that we're thinking about that I really deeply believe will unlock a lot of freedom and energy and inspiration for people to build really cool things in the world.
That's awesome. I am a little hung up on the phrase passion guru. I'm trying to imagine searching
You
for
know,
that.
like the people that Instagram from the beach and tell you how you need to go find your passion and follow your dreams. And once you do that, and once you find your dream job, you'll feel like you're never working another day in your life.
Yeah.
What wasn't Passion Guru a Mike Myers film?
Yeah.
After Austin Powers.
Wait, really?
No, it's the Love Guru.
I think
Hey,
Passion Guru is what they call the worship leader of the Passion conferences.
You guys know, it's been too long since I've been here with you guys. You guys know my pop culture references are so low that I will believe anything you say.
He referenced a Mike Myers movie from like 1999. I mean, it's like we figured.
I'll be honest, Liz, that one's on me. That one's
That
on
is
me.
actually in my sweet zone. So I should have actually, I'm disappointed in myself, frankly.
No,
Very
that one's on
disappointed.
me. That one's
Liz,
fair.
I have a question about your book.
Yes.
Is there going to be an audiobook version of this?
There is, and you get it for
There is.
free.
Did you
if
read
the book.
the audiobook?
I did. I'm actually
How did it
finishing
go?
it
Tell me about the
today.
experience of
I'm
reading your
doing
own book.
I'm doing all the corrections today. So hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have it wrapped up. It was so fun. Are you kidding me? I love, I read out loud to my kids. My husband and I actually read out loud to each other. It's like a part of our family culture. So it was also really fun because I haven't picked up the book since I turned it in 9 months ago.
Oh,
So I have to admit that I'm reading the audiobook. It was kind of a surreal experience because there was stuff that I kind of remembered writing, but things that I was like, oh,
this
and
is
as
good.
I was reading it, I was kind of chuckling and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dang, that's a good point. That's fire, girl.
Are you sure the developmental editor just didn't get a little carried away? Really?
Liz, I have a question about the Vespa I mentioned. I've always wondered what goes into choosing a book cover. And did you know from the outset, it's going to be me on a Vespa? Or was that something that the publisher wanted to do?
No. So that's a fun question that I haven't actually gotten yet. So the original inspiration, when I was probably 8 months pregnant and the book had already been turned in, and it was kind of time to start thinking about the cover, I went on a baby moon to Santa Fe with my husband. And I took an afternoon by myself and went to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum in Santa Fe, which is incredible, and fell in love with Georgia O'Keeffe. I'd liked her work before, but I was just oh my gosh, this woman, I watched this documentary about her. And I was like, she is the patron saint of pluck. So pluck, if you don't know, just to clarify things, the pluck verb, obviously we all know that, right? You pluck a chin hair when you think no one is watching. Pluck, the noun, means spirited and determined courage. It was very popular in the early 1900s. It's kind of fallen out of favor in English lexicon. And I'm on a secret mission to bring pluck, the noun, back because I think it's one of the best words in the English language.
Now it can be used as an adjective too, plucky. Right?
Plucky, right? Which is such a good word, right? When you're oh my gosh, she's plucky. It feels
It's
like what it means.
moxie.
So there's an incredible image of her, a black and white photo of her on the back of this motorcycle driving into the desert that just really it super inspired me, and it made me, I put it on my desk, and it just became kind of this really inspiring image of going into the unknown with courage and pluck, and also just joy and excitement and curiosity. And then a big part of it is when I was in Uganda, I spent months and months riding on the back of a little motorcycle all across the country looking for raw materials and sourcing, and going to all of my meetings. And so it just kind of represents this season of life that was just plucky. I didn't know what I was doing. It felt super scary, really adventurous, but also really fragile. Everything could fall apart at any moment. And so I wanted to encapsulate that in the cover of this book, this sense of pluck.
Do you own the Vespa? Is it your Vespa?
I don't. I'm renting it next week. So we've got a big launch event in LA that's happening next week. And so I'm renting it back from the guy because we're letting everybody recreate the cover with them on it, which I'm really excited about.
That's cool.
And the guy texted me back. I'm like, how much is it to rent for the night? He's like $150 for the night, like $2,500 to buy it. And there was a small part of me that was like, should we own the Vespa? Should that just be a thing?
Because I feel like if it were me on and I'm trying to capture pluck visually, I would tell the photographer, I'm like, okay, we'll do a couple your way. Now I'm going to do some wheelies. Okay, so stand back. And in my cover options with me blasting through the studio trying to do a wheelie, I may get injured, but that's pluck. I've never attempted a wheelie before.
As the owner of a Vespa, you can't do wheelies on Vespas. I'll just tell
it's
you
also
that right
from
now.
like the 20s. It's super old. It's like a clunky, heavy piece
It
of
would
steel.
maybe fall apart.
When people say things like, you can't do a wheelie, all you're doing is make me want to try it more. And the fact that it's from the 20s and might literally fall apart when the front wheel comes crashing back to the ground, or I inevitably run down the photographer because I don't know how to drive a Vespa and it breaks, that's pluck too,
That is pluck. Pluck, it is, Jesse. You got it. You basically got pluck down at this point.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to author and pastor David Platt. He's the founder of the organization Radical, and he has a new book called Something Needs to Change. We talk to him about that. Don't miss it. All right, we're moving the show along. Stay tuned. Up next, it's the Hot List.
Just show me the good time. Television, you're all I need. Turn off and I forget how to breathe.
You're listening to City Calm Down. The song is Visions of Graceland. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard 21 Pilots with the Hype Alt Mix. Okay, it's time for...
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's sizzling.
Now, Liz, I have one quick question.
Before we get going, yeah.
Yeah, last time we did the hot list together, you confessed that you Googled pop culture, the word pop culture, before the show. I want to know if you had to guess one item that you think we're discussing this morning, what would you...
Like something that's currently happening in pop culture that we might be talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Georgia O'Keeffe. It's Georgia O'Keeffe.
I am not. This week has been particularly busy.
Listen, you've been recording. I know. I'm giving you a hard time. I'm being a jerk. I apologize.
Yeah, you're an author. Book launch.
She's not just hanging out in the backyard with her chickens this week. This week she's working hard on her book launch, doing her audio. Come on, she's busy, man.
I know. I'm
Something with
sorry.
Justin Bieber or the Duck Hunters. Duck Dynasty,
okay,
I mean.
Have we ever done anything with Duck Dynasty? I'm trying to think. I don't know that we've ever really...
A quick question before we'll get to the hot list here in a second. Liz, I have a quick question for you, and I just want you to be really honest. This is a safe play. No one listens to this pod. This is dead air.
Just between
Chandler, turn off the recorder. I mean, don't turn it off, Chandler. But don't, But what do you think Duck Dynasty is?
I'll say I can say with certainty I've never seen an episode.
Never seen an episode.
But I'm aware of it.
Same.
But I want to hear what you think. Just give me the elevator pitch for Duck Dynasty. Oh yeah, Duck Dynasty. They're
a family that I think lives in like some sort of I get like swampy vibes from it.
Louisiana. That's right.
Very swampy.
Okay. I think they're duck hunters. And they they like hunt for ducks on their swampland.
So
that's pretty close. I mean, that's basically it.
The industry, the Duck Dynasty, is that they make hunting
merchandise.
Well, now, but I mean, they made like hunting duck calls and like deer call and things like that. And then they would go out on like the Outdoor Network and they would do like kind of self-produced like little hunting shows and like teach you how to do stuff. And then they got picked up on A&E and they wanted to do more of a reality show around the family and the big personalities of the family. So it kind of evolved to more of an entertainment thing. But
I do feel like I
would say
remember
it's pretty
hearing about
close.
them in pop culture. It may have been a few years ago, but they were a thing.
It's been a while.
all right, coming in number 5 this week. It was announced that a former 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory producer is going to head the TV department of that Christian studio that's making all those Christian music movies, all those like music biopics, like I Can Only Imagine, and I think the Jeremy Camp one that's coming
still
up
believe.
next year.
Building towards their Infinity War, right? They're big Christian, like Jeremy Camp. And
Don't step on the joke I wrote already, Tyler, in the hot list. It's coming for Cameron.
Cut that out. Cut this out too, Chandler. Just mute me further.
Well, Mona Garcia is the protege of TV mega producer Chuck Lorre. She produced 3 sitcoms for CBS and Netflix's Disjointed. Now she's been hired as the head of television for Kingdom, the faith-based studio behind the hit film I Can Only Imagine, about Casting Crown singer Bart Millard, and the upcoming Jeremy Camp movie I Still Believe. According to Deadline, her role will be, quote, identifying and developing family entertainment with broad commercial appeal, now that the studio has inked a multi-platform deal with Lionsgate. There's no word yet on what their first TV project will be, but our money, that Jesse wrote this joke, our money is on an extended CCMU show. DC.
Like the MCU.
Oh, that was very funny.
CCMU.
The CCMU. Cameron,
Yeah.
you butchered it on delivery. Okay? That was not the fault of the joke. It was a good joke. And if you had delivered it correctly, it would have got the laughs and not stunned silence from everyone staring at me
That's a
right
reference
now.
to these movies called Marvel. It's hard to explain. They're characters who wear like costumes. And they.
Are you
Like
explaining this to Liz? That
Well, I
Marvel,
don't
okay.
know. I don't know if she. I don't want to assume anything about the.
I
audience.
know Marvel.
Okay.
I don't know anything beyond what I just said, but I do know the broad genre of superheroes,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, etc.
There you
Do
go.
you think,
That works.
here's a question. I just have a question, and we could come back to this. You might need to think of this for a little while. But let's say we just decide, you know what? Let's just go for it. Let's just be legends. What's your TV show pitch to Kingdom? What's your like, Christian
for the
sitcom?
Christian,
for
but it has to be
this.
a Christian sitcom, huh? Christian
Yeah.
TV
Well,
show.
I mean, it has to be some sort. Doesn't it have to be
Family
like a
entertainment.
faith-based?
And I've
Family
already
friendly.
Family friendly and faith based.
and I've already thought about it because I know these people know their lane, and that is making stories about Christian musicians. And my pitch is called Cruise Control, and it's the DC Talk story. And it is basically the plot of Speed 2 Cruise Control. I've already thought about it, guys. The DC
Clearly.
Talk Cruise. The DC Talk Cruise is hijacked at the high seas, and the only people who can save it are Toby, the other two.
Kevin
And
Max.
It's a thrilling,
Michael
like
Tate.
24 type of show.
Who's
It's
the
called
villain?
Cruise
That's what I
Control,
wanna know.
a DC Talk story.
Who is the
And
villain? Chandler asked who the villain is in this scenario.
It's revealed later in the series that it's actually been hijacked by Carmen. Carmen never got his cruise. Now he's taken one for himself. And it's a thriller. And it's also a sitcom because that's part of the thing too. And so it's very weird, but it's hijacked by Carmen and his goons. And his goons are all the demons in his old videos that he would shoot. Remember those old Carmen videos where he would literally murder them with handguns? Like
Yeah.
he would like gunsling demons. They are his goons. There's a I forgot to mention there's a supernatural element to the show where they're actual demons that have hijacked the DC Talk Cruise. So anyway, there's my pitch. Mona, I await your call and your check.
Hey, we could do, we talked about it on the last podcast quite extensively, and it's been all the conversation on our Twitter feed is, the existence of ghosts. Liz, what's your take on the existence of ghosts or not?
What do you
I
think goes?
love this conversation. I mean, I
Yeah.
say that emphatically, and I think about it probably once every 3 years. I think I would tend towards being on the mystic side of things.
Yes.
So I don't buy into the whole ghost industry. I do think it's really fun. Like, I grew up being like, I love going to haunted houses. I enjoy the thrill of like the story and being scared. I don't actually believe any of that. I do not think that I understand the universe and the afterlife and the spirit world enough to make a definitive claim that ghosts or spirits in the physical dimension that there couldn't be some sort of crossover. But I think the industry built around it is malarkey, but kind of fun.
On the last podcast, we got into this conversation, and I Googled and ended up reading 1 Samuel chapter 3, where Saul, Samuel had died, and Saul wanted to seek his counsel. And so in a disguise, he went and found the medium who could speak to the dead, the witch of Endor, and went and met with her. And she summoned the ghost of Samuel, who came and spoke to Saul. It's in the Bible that ghosts exist.
I also feel like if you believe in angels, I don't know that we could live in a world where angels exist, but ghosts
But the difference is that angels and demons are the spirit realm. And I don't think any Bible-believing Christian would dispute the existence of the spirit realm and angels and demons.
So what
and
makes a
demonic
ghost
activity.
specifically a ghost? Seems like if they're nice, they're an angel, and if they're
Well, in the Bible,
demon,
in 1 Samuel 3, it was literally the ghost of Samuel who said, "Why did you bother me? Like, why did you?"
A human who has moved on to the next dimension.
And that's not a demon or an angel. That's
what we're trying to
Samuel.
say is there's a good chance that Vespa from the 1920s is haunted. And I would be
here for it. As long as it's haunted by Georgia O'Keeffe.
If you notice on Liz's book cover, the picture of her on the Vespa is a muted picture. It's like faded.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually her as a ghost.
Yeah. You think it's Georgia O'Keeffe as a ghost? Like, come back to either bless or possibly curse your book sales?
Cameron Strang, you guys heard it here first.
It's the ghost of Liz Forkin Bohannon on the cover of her book in the future, coming back to haunt the book.
I have seen too much. I have lived and worked in parts of the world where witchcraft is pretty common, and there's just too much stuff that is trippy for me to deny the existence of weird stuff like that.
We are at Halloween time in a few weeks. We are going to have a spooktacular edition of the Relevant Podcast.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to come back on and tell us one cool, creepy witchcraft story that you witnessed? Okay.
Cool witchcraft? Okay, she's nodding.
Sorry. We're on a podcast.
I think you have the look of a woman who knows exactly what story it's going to be. Too.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I got one.
Just have to decide. I don't know. Maybe, witchcraft, maybe just good ghost stories. I love, there is nothing, the idea, and this makes me sound so weird and cheesy, but friends hanging out around a campfire telling ghost stories is living my absolute best life.
Wow.
That's cool.
I love that. Also, do you guys want to know something really fun? I get super into it. I love telling ghost stories. I love listening to them, specifically around a campfire. Did you guys ever watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah,
on Nickelodeon.
Totally.
Yeah,
Am I dating myself? You guys might be a little bit older than me. Okay, I loved that show. And at the beginning of the show, the fire, when it was time to get into the story, the fire would crackle blue.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
And if you put hot chocolate mix, if you throw hot chocolate mix into a campfire, it does this crackly blue pop that is the best way to kick off the ghost telling stories. Just to let you guys know.
This is a fun fact. Are You Afraid of the Dark is coming back, and they just released a trailer for the new one with the new Midnight Society. Yeah, it's made for children, but I'm going to totally watch it. Yeah, this isn't a hot list item. This is just something that happened. That Are You Afraid of the Dark is coming back.
This is the most important thing that I have heard in a long time.
A trailer came out this past week, so you can go watch it and then see the new Midnight Society in action.
Is it still for kids or is it for adults now?
Yeah, it's for kids. It's going to be a Nickelodeon. They're bringing back.
Liz, did you grow up in a conservative Christian home?
No.
Okay. So that's why.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
No, I grew up I could do that. My mom is super, she would let us watch scary things and then dress up and put masks on and legitimately scare us. And I have now passed that along. I have a 3-year-old son. And I don't know, maybe it's not healthy, but I grew up with fear kind of being this is kind of fun and scary. And my 3-year-old loves to be scared. I will legitimately jump out from behind doors, completely unsuspecting, yell as loud as I can. And he does this. And I know listeners can't see me, but he'll his whole body, he'll go his eyes get really big and his jaw kind of drops and he kind of is stunned for a little bit. And then he just bursts into laughter, thinks it's the best emotion in the whole world. So I don't know. Maybe there's something
him to not
genetic.
listen to fear. Fear is
Do
like
what?
a useful tool out in the world. Like he needs to be aware that if you're feeling scared, you got to listen to that instinct. Not to start laughing at it.
She's freeing her son to have fun campfire tales later in life because her parents she's being a cool mom and not like.
I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. you guys.
It's not cool when your son thinks that like, oh, big anaconda. That's hilarious.
No, Tyler, I'm sorry to blow up your spot here, but Tyler, in his household, there's a lot of restrictions, and he's just jealous because my parents lost the war at Gargamel on the Smurfs. When I laughed that I couldn't watch it because of Gargamel, they just gave up, and they're like, all right, we're just going to let him watch literally what I was watching R-rated movies at like 12, and I thought they were awesome. You know?
Yeah, same. I actually wrote about that in my book. When I was like 10, I snuck out of bed and watched this movie called Mechanical Overdrive on TNT. Have you guys seen this movie?
No.
Okay. It has, I think, Emilio Estevez in it. It does have a 12% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So I highly suggest. But it's like this horrible horror movie about like your just everyday items getting like possessed and taking over. So like a bread knife and a blender, and it's all like attacking humans. It's bad. It's very gory. But I would sneak up in the middle of the night and watch scary movies.
I think that was based on a short Stephen King short. I think that's true. I
thought you were going to say, I think that's based on a
correct.
true story.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I'm looking at table topic cards in front of me. Just happened to be, and this one says, "What's your biggest fear?"
Oh.
What's your biggest fear, Liz? What's your biggest fear?
I think my probably biggest fear is feeling like at the end of my life, I like left stuff on the table because I was too afraid to pursue and become the person that God created me to be.
Wow.
Second card right underneath it. I'm not kidding. Have you ever turned down an opportunity because of fear?
There you go. See? It knew.
Really existential crisis.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like phobia? I don't have things like, so here's the thing about my fears. I am a very rational person. Like my fear of things is directly in correspondence to the actual danger that it poses to me.
Okay.
So I am more afraid. I actually legitimately am afraid of like getting in my car and going down the highway. Like I think about like, this is the most dangerous thing that I do ever. Like more people die doing this than like all of these other like freak weird things. So if it's like a common way that people die, I'm like, my fear just increases with that. But I'm curious, like, do you guys have like phobia fears, irrational fears, or do you have rational fears?
I mean, I don't really feel like I fear things regularly. You know what I mean? Like I don't like the only thing I have like a phobia of, like a legit like get nervous is, and I've talked about this before, is rats and mice. And it's no other little creature or rodent. I think it's the fleshy tails. There's something about it. I'm like, they're the worst. It's the worst. Yeah, and they're super smart. They are super smart, and they carried the bubonic plague. And yeah,
I told you about like how I feel about like tentacles, like any sort of sea monster situation. Whenever it's in a movie, or even if I'm reading an article about the ocean, I don't like to scroll down in case they have a squid or an octopus or something in there. It freaked me. No, thank you. Fortunately, I live. It's rational. I don't know if I would call that a rational fear or not. Although they are scary and they are big, and I live as far away from them as I can.
So do you get scared when you're in a plane that's going over the ocean? Because if it goes down, the squids will come up and get your rafts.
Oh yeah, I would rather crash I'd rather crash onto land for sure than in the ocean. Even though you have a higher likelihood of surviving, and we're going to get eaten by some sort of giant freaky Kraken type Pirates of the Caribbean thing. Nope. Keep it away from me.
All right. Coming in number 4 this week, the Avett Brothers released a new song that takes on America's gun culture this week. The single's called Bang Bang. It explores the psychological effects of watching violent movies and television shows, Jesse. It's also a not so subtle critique on America's gun culture with lyrics like, if you think there isn't any connection between all the violence you see in real life and what's on the screen, well, it seems painfully clear to me that you're living in a fantasy. Here's a clip.
Pride and vengeance all around. Another bang bang shoot 'em up movie. meant to blow my mind, make my heart pound, bridges and tempers on fire. Please turn it off, I'm tired of bang, 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 shoot 'em up movies.
Their new album, it's called Closer Than Together. It drops on October 4th, 3 days after Liz's book, so you can get her book, and this could be the soundtrack as you read it.
There you go. There you go.
If you like Avett, stay tuned to everybody here at Relevant. You never know when Avett Brothers might show up. You got to stay tuned to your number one favorite pop culture and faith outlet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Also, Hanson might be mentioned every once in a while.
Handsome?
Hanson.
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 Liz,
Oh, you said Hanson.
you pulled in the
Sure.
Sandlot.
Yeah, I mean, we're
you pulled in
handsome too, but-
Nickelodeon. You pulled in Hanson. Culture didn't stop
These
in
are my-
96. They didn't. Things have been made since 96. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
There
Duck
was a
Dynasty.
time
we
when pop
established
culture was
that.
very
Yeah.
important.
There was. I should have been on the Relevant podcast as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming in number 3 this week, James Corden gave a powerful response to body shaming. The Late Late Show host had seen Bill Maher claim, quote, that fat shaming doesn't need to end. It needs to make a comeback because, quote, some amount of shame is good. Well, James said that after seeing the clip, he told himself, oh man, somebody needs to say something about this. If only there was someone with a platform who knew what it was actually like to be overweight. Then I realized, that'll be me. With equal measures, self-deprecating humor and sincerity, Corden explained the harm of Bill Maher's form of tough love, which he showed was really just bullying. He also debunked misconceptions about the obesity epidemic and discussed the role that socioeconomics and genetics play in body weight. Here's a clip.
But the reasons for that are complex. In fact, this entire issue is a lot more complex than he's making it out to be. Now, Billy's right about one thing. He really, really is. This is a health problem. It's an issue that needs to be discussed clearly and honestly. It's an epidemic, and when you look at the numbers, it's terrifying. There are numerous reasons why people live their lives at an unhealthy weight. Junk food, portion control, a lack of exercise. These are all major contributing factors, but poverty is also an issue. A study conducted by the University of Michigan Health System found that childhood obesity is directly linked to poverty. But, fun fact, if you shame obese children, Whole Foods will give them free salads. I'm kidding, that's not how Whole Foods works. Sometimes genetics plays a role. You know, there's a molecular geneticist named Jeffrey Friedman who discovered a hormone called leptin. Defects in the leptin gene are linked directly to obesity. They are. And here's a fun fact. If you shame the gene, it actually fixes itself. I'm kidding. That's not how science works. A lack of shame is not the issue here.
Man, I love this response because one, Bill Maher is and frequently is not just a provocateur, but he can be a real jerk. And, you know,
Such a bully.
Yeah. And for Corden to come out and address the, you know, Bill Maher's terrible hot take with, you know, like I said, he was self-deprecating. He was funny. He was respectful, but he also came, you know, he brought receipts. He had numbers that show why, you know, the idea of shaming is just ineffective in addition to being cruel. I thought it was a great response.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult, obviously, like the conversation around obesity and body shaming. It's very, very delicate. This is a really hard one, and it's not one that we have really worked that hard in the US or probably anywhere to get right. Bill Maher is obviously proof of that, but you don't have to be as explicitly bad at it as Maher was to get it wrong. So it's, as somebody who also doesn't watch a lot of Corden and isn't like the biggest fan of the guy, I thought this was a really articulate and cool way of handling something that could hopefully, I'd like to see it set a better tone moving forward for the ways these conversations are addressed, because we do need to get better at knowing how to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I would say not just obesity, but I think the conversation just about this illusion that shame changes behavior would be a fundamental shift in how our country works and operates if we could understand the reality that behavior does not change because of shame. Like what shame does to our brain and our physiological response and our ability to move and change and grow is actually completely shut down the moment that shame is triggered. And I think that applies to the obesity conversation. It also applies, I think, to any conversation where we're trying to like help incite behavior change or help even win somebody to our side ideologically. And I think we exist right now in a culture that largely uses shame as a weapon, and we demonize people and we make them feel ashamed. And I think it's a really interesting conversation. I'm really grateful that I think it is coming more into the like pop culture forefront, specifically with Brene Brown and the work that she's done around it. But it just feels so archaic that someone could actually still in 2019 believe that the way we change behaviors for the long haul and in a healthy way is through shame. It's just really toxic. And I think it makes me really sad for whoever said that, his like kids. Like, is that how you raise your kids? You try to like shame them into changing their behavior? Because if so, that's a really big bummer. Yeah. And you can come live with me.
Archaic. I think.
John Ronson, who's a journalist and a really interesting writer, we interviewed him a couple years ago about this, but he written a book about public shaming and looked at the history of it. And, you know, he found these records in like, Puritan New England and why they stopped like the stocks and scarlet letters and things like that, because pastors, and this is obviously hundreds of years ago, but, when they would put people in town square and kind of shame them for their misdeeds, the pastors got concerned about how excited their congregations would get. That, they were, it caused such concern that was what drew them away. Not just that how ineffective shaming was as like a deterrent, but like, no, this is doing something bad to the people shaming. Like, and you see that
entertainment, and it wasn't hundreds of years ago. Like now, instead of the stockyards, it's Twitter. Like at the end of the day, I think we've only gone in the wrong direction because it's become more public. And then I think proximity we have no proximity anymore. So at least back then, there was the chance that after you publicly humiliated someone, they walked by you and you had to look at them and look at the effects of your shaming on them. And today it's like, no, you can just like get on Twitter and run your mouth, and you don't ever have to interact with that person as a human. You're not in community with them. You don't experience them and the inherent dignity that they have. I think it's worse than it's ever been, frankly, in our current culture.
Yeah.
Just like Bill Maher's comedy, worse than it's ever been.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Going the wrong direction.
Yeah, it really
All right,
is.
coming in number 2 this week. Man, we can't stop covering this. Kim Kardashian West this week implied that Kanye's Sunday services are evolving into an actual church. The reality TV star, prison reform activist, and wife of rapper Kanye West visited the talk show The View this week. And while she was there, she was asked about the weekly church-like gatherings organized by Kanye. She said that it isn't officially a 501c3 nonprofit yet, but it seems to be moving that direction. She even called it a Christian church. This weekend, Kanye brought Sunday service to Atlanta's New Birth Church. Here's a clip.
Yeah, Kanye started this, I think, just to heal himself, and it was a really personal thing, and it was just friends and family. And he has had an amazing evolution of being born again and being saved by Christ. And he has now made it, people always ask, well, what are you worshiping and what is this? It is a Christian service, like a musical ministry. It is, they talk about Jesus and God. And
is there a minister there?
Sometimes. So if he goes to a different church where they've shown up and done these surprise little pop-up Sunday services at other churches. So whatever pastor speaks there. And sometimes at the one in Calabasas, he'll have friends that are pastors that are in town get up and speak. But for the most part, it's just a musical ministry. It doesn't, he doesn't have his like 501(c)(3) yet, but, to make it an official church. Right. But it is for God, and it's a Christian church. I think that was, sometimes people are like, well, what is this? And what are they doing? But it started off healing for him, and now it's become something that he just really wants to share for everybody else.
Wow. Look at that. Liz, real quick, Kanye West performs a type of music called rap music. And rap, it started in the mid-'80s, so you might have heard about it, because in the 90s it was big too. Kim Kardashian West, it's tough. There's really no 1990s context for what she is. But
her dad was a part of the
O.J.
Simpson.
The O.J. Simpson trial. Yeah.
Done. That is well within my decade of understanding.
Okay, listen, I was watching your face while that clip, and like Cameron says, we've kind of covered this exhaustively, but I did feel like this was an interesting evolution that, it's kind of notable that this might actually be forming into something more formal. But I was watching your face as this clip was playing and trying to judge your numerous reactions to Kim Kardashian.
You went through the rainbow of every emotion.
I was very curious if you could articulate just briefly. Like I said, we've talked about this a lot, but I did want to play that clip. Can you just articulate very briefly what your reaction is to this?
I was shocked. All I know about the Kardashians is that they have a reality show, and I didn't know that Kanye was even a Christian. It's the whole thing. I just really felt like I was taken through a journey. The point at which he's not a registered 501c3 was a little alarming and shocking, and thinking about how, is he using this to build his brand? But then there was this other part of me that was like, hey, the Lord uses everybody where they're at. Who am I to judge? And then there was like a lot of suspicion that was triggered, and then some judgment, and then my heart got soft again. And I was like, who am I to say? I really went through it.
Yeah.
The lingo of like Christianese being used, like in my brain, Kim Kardashian is only like this very, pop culture figure. And so hearing like that kind of level of Christian-y talked out of that voice was shocking to me. And it gave me different feelings, some good, some bad. I'm just being very honest. That was my emotional roller coaster that I just went on in that 30 seconds.
That was my review that this new CBS executive gave to Cruise Control a DC Talk story. It gave me some feelings, some good, many bad. And so it's weird that you said that.
All right, coming in number 1 this week on the hot list, Brad Pitt this week opened up about his evolving thoughts on God. Liz, Brad Pitt is a film actor in movies.
He also went to Mizzou, which was my alma mater. So I know who Brad Pitt is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was I think he dropped out before he graduated, but he was in the journalism school, which is where I was at Mizzou. So we're basically friends.
I do think it's funny that you're like, so I know who he is because he went to my college. It's like, okay. There's
upperclassmen.
It's famous for other things, but in his new film, Ad Astra, Brad plays an astronaut on a mission to discover a secret left by his father. Ooh. He told GQ that he and the film's director, James Gray, wanted to explore some deeper themes and big ideas with the movie, explaining that the two, quote, talked early on about this premise of the inability to connect, which was the springboard for the piece. But now what? And how to start illustrating that. And then there are other ideas started emerging around that. Then what is connection? When the interviewer asked what he believed about the possibility of connection, Brad talked about his history of faith and evolution from Christian to atheist to now a sort of questioning mystic. He said, "Oh man, I've gone through everything. Like, I cling to religion. I grew up with Christianity, always questioned it, but it worked at times. And then when I got on my own, I completely left it and called myself agnostic. I tried a few spiritual things, but it didn't feel right. Then I called myself an atheist for a while, just kind of being rebellious, but I wasn't really. But I kind of labeled myself that for a while. It felt punk rock enough. And then I found myself coming back around to just belief in, I hate to use the word spirituality, but just a belief in that we're all connected. It's not the first time Brad Pitt's spoken about his Christian upbringing. In 2017, he said his family eventually shifted from being traditional Baptist to more Pentecostal style of faith, saying they, quote, jumped to a more charismatic movement, which got into speaking in tongues and raising your hands and some goofy beep, beep. When asked if he believed in speaking in tongues, he said, I know they believe it. I know they're releasing something. God, we're complicated. We're complicated creatures. That's what he said. There you go.
Can't disagree there. It's interesting between him and then on the Daily a couple days ago, we covered sort of a similar, I would say, spiritual musing from Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
Both of these guys feel very much, they feel, I think Miranda's term was, I can't get away from religion or something like that, or there's something I feel connected to religion. Both these guys maybe not quite ready to put roots down into any one religious teaching, but they both feel very much like they can't. It's part of their DNA. There's some sort of spirituality that is inescapable. It's interesting. It's probably true for a lot of people.
Brad Pitt's deal, to me, struck me very much so as the explanation of what Richard Rohr calls the construction, deconstruction, reconstruction cycle of spirituality. That's like, well, that is the journey that we're all going through. Is like we have what we're handed, and there is something good and right and fruitful about the season of kind of building up and protecting yourself and beliefs. And as you progress spiritually, we all go through a season, some more dramatic than others, of deconstructing that, leaving behind what isn't true and right and doesn't fit us any longer. And then, of course, the true and really good work is in the process of reconstructing. What is it that I really believe? What really sits as truth, and then kind of building that out. And as I was listening to that, it seemed like Brad is very much so in and aware of that cycle of construction, deconstruction, and reconstruction.
That last statement he said, I know they're releasing something. God, we're complicated. We're complicated creatures. Jesse, Complicated Creatures could be a show on that new Christian TV network. Complicated Creatures.
I do. It's deep conversations.
It's kind of like Duck Dynasty, though. I mean, I think there's an outdoorsy element to Complicated Creatures.
I think it's like Oprah Super Soul Sunday, where we have complicated conversations. Then we go hunt in a swamp for actual complicated creatures.
And actually, I'm not kidding you. There is an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that this is reminding me of.
Really?
This guy lives in the swamp by a sea, and at night he turns into this swampy creature. I'm not kidding. Look it up.
And that creature speaks in tongues. Really ironic. Complicated creature.
Absolutely. That creature is often slain by the spirit.
A swampy creature like Duck Dynasty? Or what are we talking about?
All right.
That'll Phil Robertson?
That'll do it for.
It's the high list. It's sizzling.
All right, stay tuned. Up next, David Platt joins us.
Got that shine bright drip on me tough. Knowing that I gotta come with it like a potluck. Been a young boy with a plate full, no dad present, lot of hate toward him. Been alone, feeling like I can't do it. Then God stepped in with a plan for me up. Hey, breakfast meetings out on 60th. Labbing after school, using my talents just to serve them with. Learning from the greats, I never been the type to fake. I put my city on my back, I'm on the road with no.
You're listening to Stephen Malcolm and Jay Way. The song is Summertime. Well, before we get to David Platt, I want to tell you some exciting news. We are getting back in the mode of launching some podcasts. And this week, we debuted a brand new church leadership podcast named Called. Called is hosted by my former pastor, Josh Turner, as well as Bianca Olthoff, and an amazing cast of other influential leaders from around the world. Each episode will tackle another topic that is important to church leaders, whether it be soul care, and dealing with anxiety, to protecting pastoral marriages, to the big issues facing the church, like politics in the pulpit or racial division in the church today. It's an amazing podcast. It debuted this week. And before we get to David Platt, I want to take 2 minutes and give you a little bit of an introduction to Called.
We all want to see church leaders thrive. But beyond all of the resources, all of the conferences, all of the mission statements, and all of the strategies, there are real people with real needs who are leading our churches. That's why we're launching Called. It's a place for real conversations to happen with the real people making a real impact. My name is Josh Turner, and I was a pastor and a church planner for 15 years.
And I'm Bianca Olthoff, a pastor, author, speaker, and nonprofit founder. Each week, we'll be tackling issues that people like us in ministry deal with every day, from soul care and protecting our leaders' marriages, to looking at the art of a sermon, navigating politics in the pulpit, and a ton more. Every episode will feature deep conversations about the issues that matter to pastors and leaders.
We'll also be joined by some of the world's most influential church leaders to learn from their experiences and have life-giving conversations about making an impact and building communities that last.
We invite you to join us every week and be part of the conversation. This is Called.
From the Relevant Podcast Network, we're excited to announce Called. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe today on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
You can check out Called everywhere you get your podcasts. So if you're listening to us right now, just go ahead and, scroll on over. Search for Called. Subscribe today. If you are involved in church leadership or care about the church, you'll love it. The very first episode, the one that went out this week, features a conversation with John Mark Comer about anxiety. It's something you don't want to miss. Well, David Platt is an author and pastor and founder of the organization Radical. In his new book, Something Needs to Change, he explains how a hiking trip to one of the most remote areas of the world challenged him to think about the ways Christians can alleviate global suffering. Our very own Tyler Huckabee recently spoke with David about the book and the change that followers of Christ can bring to the world. Here's our conversation with David Platt.
Well, let's start at the beginning. I was reading a little bit about the book, and it sounds like it sort of was inspired by a trip you took. Could you walk me through that a little bit?
Yeah. So this book, Something Needs to Change, it is really the overflow of multiple trips that I've taken in the Himalayas, just some remote regions in the Himalayas, where the best way I could describe it is just a collision of urgent spiritual and physical needs. So like urgent physical need. They did some research not long ago in these villages, and they found that half the kids were dying before their 8th birthday. And I don't even know how to imagine that. I've got 4 kids. Like, one of my biggest fears is something happening to one of them. I can't imagine being an expectation for something to happen to 2 of them. So anyway, just so severe poverty, lack of access to whether it's clean water, medicine, so people dying of preventable diseases, and then the way like traffickers prey on that poverty. And it's so just urgent physical need combined with urgent spiritual needs. So most people in those mountains have little to no knowledge of Jesus. Like you come up to somebody on the trail and you ask them if they know anything about Jesus, and they say, "Who's that?" It's almost like you're talking about somebody in a village nearby that they've not met. I mean, just have no idea. So little to no knowledge of Jesus. These mountains are a birthplace of Hinduism and Buddhism, and just very little access to the gospel. So when I think about our urgent need in the world on a spiritual level and a physical level, like these mountains and the villages in them and the men and women and kids in them represent kind of a collision of urgent spiritual and physical need. And that leads to all kinds of questions that you start to wrestle with when you come in. And all kinds of things you start to wrestle with when you're in those mountains. And so this book is an attempt to, part of me wishes I could take like multitudes of people into those mountains with me. But that's not physically possible. So this is my attempt to bring those realities to hopefully a lot of people who will encounter those needs through this book.
It sounds like at least part of the issues that you're going to be grappling with here in this book is the problem of evil, which is just, it's the oldest bugaboo we've really got in the Christian faith, or not the oldest, but it's been around for a long time. And obviously there's been a lot of attempts to crack that question in a way that is in some way, if not satisfying, then at least can help our minds grapple with that as believers. How did you approach that question in this book?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's part of why I wanted to write this book, because like I've written things. I preach a lot, and so truths that I believe and things that I write. But part of what I try to do in this book is to, the way I put it is to kind of give a behind the scenes look with wrestling in my own heart with things I preach and truths I believe. Just where is God's provision for the impoverished? Where is God's protection for those who are being trafficked? And if the gospel really is good and true and God really is good, then why are some people born into what just seems like a life of earthly suffering only to move on to eternal suffering. Like, and so what I do in the book is I open up my journals that I wrote on these trails and just wrestle through those questions. Just try to honestly wrestle through them, because it's one thing to ask those questions from the comforts of our homes or churches. It's a whole other thing to ask those questions when you're face to face with a guy whose wife and kids died in a matter of hours from a preventable disease, or when you're looking into the face of a 12-year-old girl who's been taken captive and trained from her youth to solicit sex from men. Like or you're looking at bodies burning on a funeral pyre, knowing that person never even heard the name of Jesus. So what I try to do is just bring those questions to bear on real life and wrestle with them in that moment. And to be honest, like, not come to these nice, tidy conclusions where we just tie a bow on that and move on, but to look at what God's word says in light of those things. But to say, well, maybe there's some things we don't fully understand, but what do we know, and how does that affect the way we live?
I'm curious about the title, Something Needs to Change. It sounds very urgent, but what is it? You said the copy I got about the book says it's not a risk-free read. What in your mind is that thing that needs to change, or are those things that need to change? And what exactly are people risking by reading this book, or how do you hope people are changed by the time they're done with it?
Yeah, the title of the book comes from the end of my first trek through these mountains. We're at the airport, me and a few guys, and we're about to fly back. And one of them just asked, like, how would you summarize your takeaway from this journey? And I said, the words just came out of my mouth. It's something that changed, like my life, my family, church, future, like my life. Part of me would like to just stick my head in the sand and pretend like I didn't see all these things and experience all these things over the last week. Like, part of me really wanted to go back to life is normal, but I knew that was not possible. And so I went on a journey in the days to come that I share about in the book that, I experienced a variety of different changes. So what I say in the book is, so I want to take some risk in sharing, like, behind the scenes look into my own heart and my own wrestling with things I've written and truths I believe. And I want to call others who are reading this to take some risk. Now, I mentioned I'm taking some of the risk out of the picture. Like, you don't have to fly on a helicopter in a remote part of the world where you're totally disconnected, days away from getting any help. If anything happens, you don't have to worry about altitude sickness, dysentery, malaria, whatever. So I'm taking that risk out, but I'm inviting people to go on a journey that might leave them at the end of that trek saying, feeling pretty unguarded, unfiltered, and open to a whole new world of what God might want to do in and through your life as a result of going on this trek, reading this book.
That was David Platt. Make sure to check out his new book, Something Needs to Change. It's out now. You're listening to Active Child. The song is All Eyes on You. Okay, it's time for...
If you got something you want to know, now's the time to ask. It's Ask the Cast.
Ask the Cast, the Liz Fork and Bohannon edition. I like it. You guys went on Twitter, hit us up at Relevant Podcast this week and sent us some questions for Ask the Cast. I will randomly throw some of them out now. Here we go. Okay, Alexander asks, this is, nice little icebreaker. Was there a movie you saw that made you cry that going in you were not expecting to cry?
Well, it's not a movie I saw. It's one I wrote, and it's called Cruise Control, a DC Talk Story. And the third act has a twist, and I was weeping, guys. This is really something special. No, I don't know that I've ever
wept at your own words. I actually cried through the last 3 chapters of my own book. I don't know what that says, but I couldn't hold back my own tears
on the audiobook.
Yes,
like reading it.
I had to stop and restart it because I kept crying and my voice was like cracking and I couldn't hold it together.
Wow.
Anyway,
that's going to make your listeners bawl. I've heard it said that, like in a talk or a, sermon, speech, audiobook, whatever, that if you get to the line of crying, like if the speaker gets to the line of crying, but like the audience will lose it, like bawling. But if the speaker cries, the audience doesn't have as strong of a reaction because the audience feels like if you can toe the line, the audience will feel the tension and the release of the emotional tension will come from the audience. But if the speaker releases the emotional tension, then nobody's really moved as well. So did you toe the line? Did you actually cry?
It'll depend how they edit it. Like I would have to stop, pull my act together, come back. So I don't know how it'll end up coming out. If it'll feel like, if people will even notice, if he'll like choose the parts where I was like more pulled together, or if it'll be like very obvious that I was on the struggle bus.
All right. Jessica asks, planning a baby shower, and I hate the stereotypical games. What games would you invent or play at a baby shower?
Wow. Well, as I said earlier, I've had some really great experience with pool volleyball. And if you need an extra person, get that lifeguard in and, have yourself a game.
Okay.
Baby shower.
Why are you answering? You've never been to a baby shower.
I mean, this is Ask the Cast, and I'm part of the cast.
I thought we were all the genderized baby shower model. I think is very odd and I'm a very pro both the husband and the wife, father and mother, being at the shower. I'll just take this serious. I don't have like a quippy, witty idea, but our baby shower was one of the best days of my entire life. And we said, it was my husband and I, we invited all of our friends, men and women. We said, no gifts, no games, come with a word, a prayer, a poem, a piece of art, like share your journey about being a parent, speak life and truth over us as parents to be. And it was one of the best days of my whole life. There's just so few places in our culture where we like do that.
That sounds amazing. I would be so uncomfortable, like with the attention being you were not
Well, the
uncomfortable?
attention was more so on the people like sharing. Someone had wrote a poem or like a short story. I had a friend that like made a piece of art. I have a friend that speaks fluent Mandarin, and he like did this like live kind of like wrote out this like prayer or word for our future children in Mandarin and like taught us the meaning of that and the history. And so it was actually, the attention was really split between the attendants who were like kind of co-creating the experience with us.
What did you vet any of it? Or like, what if it was really lame? Like, what if your poem was terrible? Like the guy's poem.
You didn't invite, I don't think get the impression you hang with a crowd who would bring a lame.
Yeah, we do all of our vetting before that point in friendship. We have them do like a creative writing exercise. We see their reading list from the last 12 months, but that happens like before we agree to go to coffee with you.
There's a reason we weren't invited is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Lame poets have been weeded out of Liz's social circle long ago.
Only probably like a fourth of people who came participated. So there were people that were like, this isn't my thing, but I'm still going to be here to
I would be the dummy that showed up and be like, I brought categories and a volleyball in case a game breaks out. So
we had like a friend who's super funny, and he wrote a very funny, irreverent poem, and it was perfect. Yeah. Like I loved that it was like that followed by like Mary Oliver. It was perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff asks, would you rather spend the rest of your life with a sailboat as your home or an RV as your home?
Hardcore RV. Not even a question.
Yeah.
The idea of being surrounded by water, not fun to me. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Somebody name that poet. Anybody speaking of poetry?
That guy from your shower.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was very good. I was in tears.
Is that the Mandarin poem? Translated to English for us. Yes. I wouldn't. Yeah, no way. You couldn't get me on a sailboat for the rest of my life. But an RV would rule. Take that one out to the desert. You know, I would love to take it out to New Mexico. It sounds like a dream.
Well,
Crystal asks, pick one. Which do you prefer? Meatloaf the singer or Meatloaf the food?
Okay. I've already established this. I don't do loafed meat. Okay, meat does not belong in loaf form. Okay, like bread exclusively. You don't loaf meat. Okay, it should not be loafed. Liz, you seem to. Again, I'm trying to read your face. Are
Disagree.
you pro?
I think I feel that's my like Midwest showing. Like a good loaf of meatloaf with like a side of ketchup that you dip it into. Oh. I don't know if it's actually the taste and the if I know what's going into it that I feel great about, but it feels like home to me. Feels like home to me. Can we make the show a little bit more of a musical? Like that would be a moment where I in my dream world, my fellow cast members, we just go for it. There's some harmony. We're all into it. Anybody?
Speaking of musical theater, I roomed with a guy in college who was very into musical theater. He was a performer, and one day I came to the room, and we hadn't been roommates very long, and I came to the room, and he was blasting a musical, and I think it was, I'm going to butcher it, I think it's French. Tyler, Man of La Mancha. Is that a French?
I believe that's Italian, but
either way,
yes.
He's like blasting it, and it's like, you know. And I came in and I was like, "Oh, dude, is this Meatloaf?" You know, because Meatloaf is very. I don't know if you guys, Chandler, maybe you can take us out on a classic Meatloaf song, but he's very theatrical, you know.
Right.
And my roommate looked at me with hatred in his eyes, and he was like, "How dare you? How dare you?" I'm like, I honestly thought it was Meatloaf, and I am sorry. And now I'm kind of hungry for Meatloaf, and usually I don't like that sort of thing. So yeah,
Spanish. Man of La Mancha. They're gonna get me. Man of La Mancha is Spanish. It's Don Quixote. It's the story of Don Quixote.
Okay. Yeah.
Musicals are very divisive.
You love them or hate
you
them.
don't meet people that are like lukewarm on musicals. You love them or you hate them. And I feel like I think that it's a pretty good measure of if you're a good person or a bad person.
I've noticed this. The relevant crowd is pretty into the readers. Always like a good musical. Whenever there's musical news,
then I represent the readers. Readers, I am your representation.
They're adapting Prince of Egypt for the stage for a stage performance.
Yeah.
And everybody posted news about that, and they lapped it up. It was a huge deal.
I have a problem with the transition from talking to singing. You know, like we're just sitting here in a heated thing, and then I start to do a melodic delivery.
Yeah.
And then the music comes on. You know, it's just like, wait a second, what? Like you were just talking. Stop it.
I will say this.
That is literally how I live my life in my head. It is like the transition is so natural to me. Like, and sometimes I imagine, like, my husband and I got in a really big fight the other night, and we were like in the car, and I was mad. I was really mad, and I have some anger problems. And I banged my hand on the dashboard. He was driving, and like there is a small but very real part of me that the moment that this happens, it's like boom. My deepest desire is to go like da 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 da. And then like our marriage, our life, the world would be better if instead of it just being a normal talking fight, we went in to a musical number in that moment. And if you disagree with me, I just don't know if we're on the same wavelength in life. If you don't think that would make life better.
It's funny. I'm not a big fan of musicals for the same reason. But in the third act of Cruise Control, it does break down into a musical showdown. What will people say when they hear? And it's quite spectacular. It's unbelievable.
It's pretty straightforward. Since I would be willing to venture a bet that Carmen lived most of his life in a musical. Like he starts singing. Yeah. He's a life coach now. He sings his advice to people. There's no doubt in my mind. So it would not be true to your source material if you didn't have them break into song now and then. They're musicians.
Well, what's the one with Russell Crowe and Hugh Jackman?
Les Mis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's French.
I was talking to someone who went to go see Les Mis, and like 5 minutes in is like looking around like, oh no. No. This is a musical. Like he didn't realize it would. He thought it was just like a historical, kind of like Count of Monte Cristo.
The movie
type
was
of situation.
The play in real life is so good.
That happened to me with Dreamgirls. I didn't realize that it was a musical until I was stuck in the theater. I'm like, oh man. I will tell you this though. One of my favorite movies of all time is La La Land. And I feel like
that's musical.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's a musical, but I feel like it's different enough. You know, like the opening scene of traffic in LA starting as this over the top crazy. I felt like it was so self-aware, good. You know, and then it like devolves into a scene. I just feel like it was self-aware enough and it played with the structure. Okay. Last couple ones. Let's see. Perry asks, I'm doing a sugar fast and I'm used to eating a box of hot tamales every night. What should be my new healthy sugar-free indulgence?
What? Box of hot tamales.
Perry, let me just say this. You're lucky to be alive, friend. A box?
That's every night?
Yeah.
Every night.
I would say...
I'm down with some hot tamales, but...
I mean, I think the only option you have is an insulin shot because you've wrecked your body, friend. It's too late. Yeah.
A friend of mine had to get off coffee this week. Like the doctor's like, got to get off coffee. And they're like, okay, it is imperative that you come up with a new routine where you used to fill the void with coffee or whatever. You have to change your life. So then it's just a different thing. You don't miss it as much. So Perry, you got to change your evening routine, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
I know people freak out about this a little bit, but you know what? A snack that I can do is, I don't think pickles are too bad.
Oh.
I love pickles.
I'll go there. I'm down with pickles. Sugar free.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them here. People, they love them over here. They serve
really? I was going to say, are there French pickles?
Those tiny pickles, those little gherkins.
Also,
they're all
those
over the
like
place.
sweet pickles, the like buttery pickles, do those actually have sugar in them, or is somehow the like cucumber sweet?
Yeah,
because that could be a good alternative.
I'm sure there's sugar-free options.
Yeah.
Barry, this may not be helpful. I'm going to just tell trivia about myself.
You know,
I'm actually a nice crunch to them, complex flavor profile.
Yeah.
Carrots. Eat carrots. They're actually quite sweet. And they kind of look like
sweet.
Big hot tamales.
They're big
carrots.
Orange hot tamales that taste gross. So good luck, Perry.
Yeah.
I love carrots.
All right, Braxton asked this last question. If the Huckabeast is spending time away in France, what other parts of the world would the cast like to spend time away in, but still do the pod? So like remote for a few months. Berlin.
Oh, yeah.
Why Berlin?
Why
Chandler?
Berlin?
There's a lot of tattooers I want to get tattooed by there.
Wow.
Yeah.
A tattoo cruise.
Yep. It's on my list of things to do.
Just throwing back some
like
schnitzel.
to go live there or
no,
visit?
just go for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Liz,
Mine's India right now. We have some new partners, amazing fair trade partners that are doing incredible work over there and new product lines that are coming out of there, but I haven't actually been yet. And I'm very anxious to get over to India.
Interesting.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to say, like, I always watch, I've said this before, when I watch cooking shows, I'm like, man, Italy seems cool. But I would probably do better in like a Tokyo or something where there's, it'd be cool just to be like in a, a different culture that's radically different. I think I would get tired of Italy all the time because it seems like their meals take forever. And that's just not my thing. Like, I don't got time for a 2-hour lunch again today, guys. I know you got the big picnic table set up and I'm looking over the countryside and that they've literally been preparing this meal for 3 days. I don't have time again. Okay. I was just planning on grabbing a mozzarella stick and finishing that Hot Pocket.
All right. Many thanks to everybody who's sent us questions. There's a ton more that we couldn't get to. Go check them out at Relevant Podcast. Many thanks to Mark Batterson's new book, Double Blessing, for making the episode possible. Go check it out. It is out now. Well, many thanks to David Platt for joining us. Make sure to check out his new book, Something Needs to Change. It's out now. Also, make sure to check out the debut episode of Called. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Go check it out and subscribe today. Help us spread the word. Also, thank you, Liz, for sitting in. This was a lot of fun.
So fun. Good to be back, guys.
Make sure to check out her new book, Beginner's Pluck. You can find out more at beginnerspluck.com. For the next 10 days, you can pre-order it and get the audiobook for free. And after October 1st, you can just get it. I think everybody should. Yeah. And if you go on the website, beginnerspluck.com, you might find out about an upcoming podcast from our friend Liz Forkin.
Something I like to call Pluckology.
I don't believe it.
It's going to be riddled with 1990s pop culture references.
100%.
Riddle. All right. On that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Chandler String.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
Liz Forkin Bohannon.
We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
And maybe I'm lonely, that's all I'm qualified to be. That's just one and only promise I can keep.
What will
Relevant
people say
Podcast
when they
Network.
hear?